welcome all. We are doing this fucking, I don't know what to say. We're doing this shit.
Okay, what month is it?
October.
And what do we do in October?
Watch horror movies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because we like to get spooky. It's horror has been a love of mine forever, and I like to believe that the only reason Jeff likes horror today is because
Pretty
I
much.
introduced him into the genre, which is kind of crazy to me, just in the sense that like I just assume horror is something everybody watches. It didn't really baffle me until I met Jeff that I realized like, oh, not everybody likes to just ruin their day and be scared.
Well, the thing about it is that, like, before I met Adrian, and I was, like, maybe kind of like a Christmas Christian, or I'd be like, oh, Halloween's here. Maybe I'll watch a scary movie on Halloween, and that's about it. I'll have my one or two for the year. I remember watching The Ring and just being like, all right, that's it for the whole year. Or Exorcism of Emily Rose. That really scared me, and I was like, you know what? Let's take a break on this scary movie thing.
I like the idea of Jeff like opening a drawer and there's just 2 horror DVDs that he has just for Halloween. Like, we'll do the ritual and then we'll be done with it. Oh, I'm Adrian, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, I thought you were gonna start over, but I was like,
no, we're just
plowing through. Yeah, I didn't really have an intro planned, but yeah, I'm Jeff, and this is We Be Watching Films.
Yeah.
So if you know us from just life in general, if you just randomly came upon us, if you typed in like movie podcast, I don't know, we are just 2 really passionate
we're 2 fucking geeks.
I was about to say nerds.
We're fucking losers who just like talk. We can talk about movies and that's about it.
Yeah.
Politics? Yeah. Don't ask me. I know not to be an asshole and that everybody should have equality. If someone were to ask me, well, name all the reasons why we need to abolish the I can't even think of the fucking
private prison system.
I was thinking of there's the popular vote and there's the
the Electoral College.
Okay, you see how stupid I sound? But movies, I know that.
Yeah.
And particularly, like I said, I know horror. And it's October, and I know you want to be scared, and you may be thinking, you know what, I've seen 5 horror movies? That means I've seen every horror movie ever made. What's something that I might not have seen, that I might have slipped through the cracks? And that's why we're here. Because the 2 that we're going to talk about today, one of them is the most Chicago movie possibly ever made. It's
Chicago horror movie.
Definitely debatable, to the point where the actor has a fake Chicago accent that's more Chicago than most people who live in Chicago. And then the other is a monster movie that happens to take place in the Field Museum.
Yeah.
Which
they never call that in the movie.
No, yeah, I mean, we saw a video about it that it was supposed to be the whatever
New York in New York National History Museum. That's what the book was based on.
But they brought it to Chicago, so it's ours now.
Yeah,
take that, New York.
We got them over pizza, and we got them over scary movies. Scary monster movies.
There's definitely plenty of horror movies that take place in New York that are. But we got these 2.
Yeah.
There's probably more, but Child's Play is another one. But you know Child's Play. Everybody knows Chucky.
Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman is one that I keep forgetting is a Chicago movie. But yeah, it's Chicago through and through.
You know what?
Go watch those too.
You know what's interesting?
What?
I was looking at my Voodoo collection. Not to plug Voodoo, but
yeah, they don't sponsor us.
Yeah, but I purchased the Denzel Washington horror movie Fallen, and it says on the description 2 Chicago cops, and I was like, Fallen's in Chicago? No way. And then I looked it up. I was like, the city is never mentioned, but this film was filmed in like Philadelphia, so I don't know what Voodoo is talking about.
We'll take it. Fallen is now officially a Chicago film.
Yeah.
But which one do you want to start off with?
I figure we'd start off with the Relic first.
That's the Field Museum monster
yeah.
movie. I really like this flick because when I was a kid, this was like an R-rated movie that I could watch because it was just kind of creature violence.
Yeah.
That being said, still it's a pretty gory movie.
There's a lot of decapitations.
Yeah, it's cool because it's kind of central to the plot as well. Like it's not just decapitations to have a decapitation, but it's actually like how the monster eats.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what this movie's about?
Yeah, sure. The Relic. Well, you first introduced it to me. I remember as a kid always seeing this this cover in Blockbuster. And so when you showed it me, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm down for that. And okay, so the Relic is about a doctor at the Field Museum. We'll say they call it the Natural History Museum.
It's the Field Museum.
It's the Field Museum. But and she's played by Penelope Ann Miller from Carlito's Way, and then there's Tom Sizemore as a cop, very superstitious cop. Tom Sizemore from every movie in the 90s ever.
Tom Sizemore, you watch him in this movie and it's like, damn, I really like this actor. Who's that? Like, I gotta see his other movies, and then you realize, oh, that's who Tom Sizemore is.
I'm still not entirely clear of like what happened.
Yeah, he became a drug addict. And,
okay.
Yeah, it's
he's been in
a Hollywood story.
Yeah.
But I knew about all the controversy about him before I even knew what movies he was in. Like, he's also in Saving Private Ryan.
He's in Saving Private Ryan. He's in Heat. He's in Devil in a Blue Dress.
Damn.
He's in True Romance.
Shout out to Tom Sizemore, man. He's a pretty good actor.
Wait, True Romance? Whatever.
You hear that, Quentin Tarantino? That's who you gotta give it. Wait, is he dead?
No.
Okay, that's who you gotta give the next.
Yeah.
Tarantino cameo for.
Pretty sure he's in True Romance. Anyways. But yeah, there's a doctor and there's a cop, and they both come together because the cop thinks that there's a monster or some kind of killer in and around the Field Museum area, and it's pretty. To be fair, in the movie, like for the first hour, they think like, oh, it could be a guy, but we know better.
Right.
Seeing the poster and everything, and they keep the monster. Oh, and so there's the Field Museum is holding like this big gala for like the mayor and everyone really important in Chicago, and they say like, oh,
a literal hot dog.
we need to, if we can't put on this gala, it would be a disaster. So could you please solve this mystery before then? And they were like, okay, we'll shut down all other parts of the museum except for this one part. But that is the one time the monster thought, I'm really hungry.
We'll make sure that everyone's in one area so it could be as easy for the monster as possible.
And it's for the first hour, you don't really see the monster. It's very much the Jaws kind of storybook where it's just like you only get little glimpses and like maybe a shadow and then like a sound effect. You hear someone go like, ah, and then it like cuts away.
Is this one of those movies where the black dude dies first? Or a black character dies first? Is it the janitor?
I think it's the janitor, yeah.
The janitor. Okay, so we know the monster's racist too.
Yeah.
Dude just wanted to enjoy his weed on the toilet,
yeah,
as everyone else does, and he had to lose his head for it.
Yeah, poor guy. And once you get so this movie is about it's like an hour 40 something, and for the first hour you don't really see the monster a lot, and it does that thing where kind of like also like Jaws, where you go in the last like third act. You get to see the monster a lot, and it's sometimes in movies, like when you finally get to see the creature up close, sometimes it's just like,
well, we found out too that this is a quick side note. The monster was designed by Stan Winston, right?
Yeah.
We found that out. Shout out to Good Bad Flicks. Not that he's gonna hear this, but
Right.
if he does, I'm a fan.
YouTube page, Good Bad Flicks.
But go on with the.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh
find
yeah,
out the monster.
The monster for the last act. Like sometimes when you like, okay, perfect example. I was just talking with some people about Insidious, and they said, "Oh man, I was so scared." Except for like when they go into the further, and we get to see that
You actually see
Darth Insidious monster, and you're like, it was creepier in shadow or something like that. This is not the case for the Relic. I don't think. I think the monster looks awesome in every scene that he's in.
It looks pretty unique to the point where I'm not even gonna try to describe it.
Right.
But it does. It looks pretty badass. Definitely, like, okay, there's movie monsters, but sometimes the monster just looks goofy as opposed to scary. This one does look scary. Like, I would not like to see the animatronic for this thing. Right. And it's effective because the movie is like really dark as well, on purpose. Like, not dark in theme, but literally like there's very little light in it.
Yep.
And lighting is used scarcely. But honestly, seeing it on Blu-ray, it works. I think it works pretty well. I was able to see everything. Although there definitely were things that I saw in the Blu-ray that I had never noticed on the DVD version of it, like that I would rent.
I definitely wanted to get the Blu-ray or the HD copy on Vudu because I had the DVD copy, but I heard, and it was on Amazon Prime, but a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it's too dark, you can't see it, it's a bad transfer." So I purposely wanted to get the best version possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are points where it's like, I still don't even, like, there are a couple points where you're like, damn, I really don't know what's going on right here.
Yeah.
But for most part, I think it's, well, first of all, the monster, like we said, it the way it dispatches its victims is really creative and interesting. I like Tom Sizemore and Penelope Ann Miller as not a couple, but like as a team. And they have Brooks in here from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Brooks was here. Yeah. And okay, so sorry, I just totally lost. This is so unprofessional. I'm sorry.
You know, I didn't want to mention it, but we're actually playing my favorite game to play with Jeff. That sounds bad, but what I mean is I like to play this game called Don't Tell Jeff That You Took an Edible an Hour Ago and see if he notices when it hits you. I don't think he's noticed. It has. And you seem more stoned than I am because
I just don't
you
know
totally just lost track of what we were talking about.
I was trying to think of something else. This is a really bad first episode.
No, it's not. I think it's actually a pretty funny one.
Okay.
Which, I mean, do you really want to hear our, like, journalistic essay about the Relic? No, you don't. You want to know if it has cool kills and if there's a big ass monster, and there is.
Yeah.
And you should see it, and it is Chicago as fuck, because if you've ever been to the Field Museum, you've seen, like, they capture everything, and they capture how cool it looks and how kind of scary it can also be. Like, I remember as a kid being scared of some of the Field Museum and not really understanding why, other than the fact that it's like some places are kind of dark, and then some things just seem larger than life.
Some of the models.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, you walk around the corner and there's like a giant dinosaur.
The only thing that was missing, which I don't even think it was created yet, but at the bottom they have that thing where it's like you're going through a machine that makes you tiny, and then you're like, oh shit, we're underground and ants are giant and there's a fucking giant spider. Like, that would have been cool to see in this movie.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
But yeah, I don't think that was, I don't know when that was created, but probably not in 1996. Is that when this came out?
1997. It was originally, like Good Bad Folks said, it was supposed to be 96, but they shot some extra stuff for the ending.
Yeah, which it's a cool ending too.
It is, yeah.
It's kind of like an action movie, and it has an action movie ending.
The CGI is a little noticeable nowadays, but that's, that's to be expected.
It's not enough to take away from it.
Right, yeah, it's still a cool monster. It's just a really cool monster movie. I know that, here's the thing. This movie is one of the many movies that are rotten on Rotten Tomatoes that I like. This has a 36%, I believe, on critics. Now, on audience score, 34%. On IMDb, it has a 5.8. But you know who liked it? Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. So
that's all that matters.
2 thumbs up. So I don't know if you have to only be from Chicago to like this movie.
You definitely don't. I mean, like, really, unless you've been to the Field Museum, this is gonna seem like any other location for you. But that's why that's what makes it a real Chicago movie. That like, it's gonna be nothing extra special to people who live anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're from Chicago, you get the bonus of having a really cool monster movie that also happens to be taking place in a place that you've seen and love, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does it. Maybe it's stupid, but, you know, you see things that are filmed in a certain area. It's like, I know that place.
Yeah.
And it's like, you realize that we're all sharing this shared universe.
Yeah, it is interesting, like, seeing, oh, shit, that was, you know... Chicago from 97. Or like in the next movie we're talking about, there's a specific part that I always, whenever I'm in that area, I always go, ooh.
If you're from Chicago and you watch movies with your dad, if they ever show 80s or 70s Chicago, it could be the same movie you've seen. It could be, it doesn't matter. He will always go, it was really bad back then. You couldn't walk around downtown. He does that every time. And the thing is, like, yeah, I guess so. I feel like all downtowns look like Taxi Driver New York in that area. Like, okay, San Francisco downtown in 78. Mm-hmm. When did Taxi Driver come out?
76.
76, everyone had the exact same downtown. The Chicago one looks like Taxi Driver. The Taxi Driver one looks like Hardcore. It's all the fucking same. That's another tidbit about something else irrelevant. But as a Chicago monster movie, I give the Relic 5 deep dish pizzas out of 5.
I give the Relic a solid thumbs up. And I don't know what rating I would pick because I haven't.
Oh, I was thinking. I'm just gonna give everything 5 out of 5 here.
Okay.
If we're talking about it, like it doesn't
really
really
love
matter. The fact that we're talking about the movie is already the recommendation.
It's just really a fun movie. I mean, there's nothing like too deep about it. It's just a really fun monster movie.
Unlike this deep dish pizza right here.
Here's what my thing is. I've seen our next movie more than I've seen The Relic, so I rewatched it last week, and I was like, when you asked like, "Oh, you ready to talk about The Relic?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." You saw
Lo
how
and behold.
But yeah, The Relic's really good and entertaining.
Yeah. On to our next film.
Our next movie
the fucking piece de resistance of tonight's episode.
Yes. A movie called Stir of Echoes from David Koepp, written and directed by David Koepp, starring Kevin Bacon. This movie is about... Now, I'm in my zone now. I can talk about Stir of Echoes all day.
King.
It stars Kevin Bacon as just... I believe he's an electrician. And just like a working class guy... And they're in like a typical Chicago neighborhood. And one day they're at a party and his sister-in-law, starts talking about hypnotism. And he's very skeptical. He's like, come on, hypnotize me. Do me. What's the worst that can happen? Always a bad sign when they mention that in a horror movie.
Yeah. And always the worst fucking thing happens.
Yes. And so she hypnotizes him and he's like, whoa, that was freaky. And then he goes back home that night. And from that point on, he starts seeing hallucinations and visions and like projections of the future. Like he's seen all these things and he doesn't know how to stop it, what's going on. And he starts getting hooked on this one ghost and trying to solve the mystery of what happened to her.
Yeah.
The ghost, played by Jennifer Morrison from House and Warrior and...
Sure. She's in other things.
Well, I'm saying, oh,
I know. That was like this was one of her first roles.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of her first roles.
Pretty effective ghost story. Pretty effective mystery movie. But let me interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
Because fuck all that. The main star of the show is Kevin Bacon's Chicago accent. It is the most stereotypical yet realistic portrayals of a Chicago electrician. You've seen this guy ordering a fucking Chicago hot dog at Wrigley Field. Like, this is exactly the guy who you think of when you think Chicago.
Yeah.
The only thing he didn't say was like Dub Bears or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's not a SNL skit.
But it kind of sounds like one.
Yeah.
It's both ridiculous, but also like heartwarming in a weird way. I dig it. But please continue with your thought.
Okay. I like ghost movies because usually with a ghost movie, it's either one or two things. It's either going to be a fun haunted house, kind of like, ooh, let's see if they can scare you. Like,
or it's going to be the scariest shit you've ever fucking seen in your life. That's going to make you think, oh my God, what happens when we go on?
Wow, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was going to say something like, well, Insidious, that has ghosts. That's a scary movie. And then like, but then there's also the flip of that coin is like, if it has a really great story and a really great mystery of like trying to find out where the ghost came from, that's what
everybody likes a whodunit.
Yeah, exactly. I can get so attached to a good mystery.
Yeah.
Like being, not knowing what, just kind of looking at a plot and being like, I don't know where this is going to go. And you're just trying to solve it along with, as Kevin Bacon is trying to solve it along. And there's a part where it is I wrote this down in my notes. There is a shot where they have an old style sign.
Oh yeah.
Old style beer sign.
Google old style beer sign really quick, and the first image that comes up should be what we're talking about.
Yeah, and so they got that. Then a street fair in Chicago, like people on the street, and then an L train going by. I was like, this is the most Chicago. And they got shot.
Wicker Park in the 90s, back when it wasn't safe like it is now. Yeah, it's got Wicker Park. That old style beer sign in Chicago, that's like a checkpoint in a video game or like a safe spot. Like there's one every block and you know you're safe. It's funny. It's something that is like pretty unique to Chicago, but also can be extremely douchey. Like as soon as I see like a kid from DePaul have it in his apartment, it's like, shut the fuck off. But go on with
well, I found that funny because David Koepp probably said to the cinematographer, I need the most Chicago shot possible, and the cinematographer was like, I know what you're thinking.
In my head, this is the most Chicago movie of all time, and right underneath it is that Instagram video of Kanye talking, and then the L train passes.
Yeah, hold up.
Yeah, he has to stop. That's the most Chicago shit ever made, ever.
And then there's a part, speaking of Wicker Park, there's a part where Kevin Bacon's wife goes down to meet somebody in an alleyway. That sounds bad, but like a fellow psychic person in this alleyway and off the blue line, Damon Blue Line in Wicker Park. And every time I go down there, I always look down that alley and be like, that's that Stir of Echoes alleyway.
Yeah.
And they also have a really cheap jump scare in that scene. The cheapest jump scare, because she's walking down the alley, and all of a sudden you just see, like, there's the apartment stairs, and you just see, like, somebody just, like, run up behind her. I'm like, that's not even...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's not even needed,
That's
man.
funny. Yeah. No, that is silly. I was thinking about like what actually goes on in that Wicker Park scene, and then I remembered this movie isn't without its like dated stereotypes. There's two people who are psychic. One of them is Ileana Douglas, and the other guess who the only black character in the movie is? It's the guy who knows mysticism and spirituality and
okay, I've never thought
voodoo
about
and
that.
such. It's like, oh, all right. Well, it also really seems like they wanted to get Tony Todd, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, no ill will on this whoever this actor is.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen him in other horror movies, but
I like him.
This definitely seems like they wanted Tony Todd. Because who doesn't want Tony Todd?
Originally they were probably thinking Scatman Crothers, but I don't know if he was alive at that point.
No, yeah, he definitely was, but I don't know if he was doing movies still.
Right. Well, I was thinking like, you know, he's that character in The Shining.
Speaking of mystery movies, like we mentioned earlier, another one of my favorite games to play with Jeff is watch a mystery movie with him and text him what you think the answer is to see whether or not you sound really stupid after you actually see the twist.
Like, it's happened a couple times where like I'll see him like put his code over his phone,
start texting,
and then I get a and then he'll be like,
don't check it.
Nope.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, a couple times now. With like Knives Out and
yeah, that's a strange, like, I feel like friends shouldn't be that close to like know your next movement and stuff. Like that's a little too intimate for even like a lover. No, but Jeff is great. I don't know who else I would rather watch a movie with.
Yeah.
What was I talking about with Stir of
Echoes? Stir of Echoes is a very good movie.
It is. Oh, speaking of mystery, so just want to quickly say the last thing that we saw that was a mystery that I remember doing that was Knives Out.
Yeah.
Which immediately was like, don't check your phone, please. Like, just ignore the text that I sent because it is so wrong. This does have a good mystery though, and it's one of those ones where if you see it multiple times, you do start to notice the hints and the signs of like who it's going to end up being. Yeah. But it's still really interesting, and
I like all the breadcrumbs they
leave. It's more interesting him finding more about the ghost herself than it is like finding out who committed the crime. Yeah. I'd say even the way that he finds the ghost is also like really kind of cool and unique.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And now this is a horror movie. This is a ghost movie. It's creepy, but it's not like overtly like, oh my god, it's so scary. Yeah. Except for one scene.
This has some good jump scares. Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. It's the best one in the movie. Yeah. But there are others that totally work too. I've shown this to a few people who like they'll think that they know when it's coming and then it just completely catches them off guard. It also has some like pretty repulsive body horror. Oh yeah. In a way, like there are broken nails and broken teeth and both of them look horrific. Yeah. Shout out to Jeremiah who watched it with us and made a noise like a baby and made a face like a baby as well. It's something that I've never seen ever again. And I wish I could have somehow taken a photo of it because it was the funniest shit I had ever seen. This has good jump scares. This has a good story that's like pretty upsetting and like pretty effective. Yeah. But it also has a great resolution. Yeah. The climax gets a little, I don't know, it felt like a Law and Order episode kind of like this movie has action, and I don't think David Koepp knows how to direct action well. Okay. And when it's action in a horror movie that's not also just throughout action, it feels kind of weird. Okay. And that's how I kind of feel about it, but I also like how it ends. Like the way that the fight scene ends, pretty satisfying, I'd say.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. This is one of those movies that is kind of like, what's the term? Like when you pass it on, it's like that. It's like the game Telephone, where Adrian showed it to me, and then we showed it to Jeremiah, and then Jeremiah and I showed it to our friend Becca, and then I showed it to my dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like...
Your dad showed it to the cat.
Yeah. and I feel like...
The cat showed it to Ricky.
Yeah. I don't know if our friend Ricky has seen it, so...
Yeah, this is one of those movies that he's going to be texting through, so there's no reason to show him. No, I'm kidding. He might like it. I think he'd dig it.
But yeah, I've grown to, like, practically watch this movie every Halloween.
Yeah, it's this and the Charlie Brown Halloween special.
Well, for me, it's this and The Fog, the 1980 John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, we may get to that.
Hey.
Sometime. We may not.
Who knows?
But watch The Fog regardless.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. If you're thinking it's kind of slow, just pretend it's supposed to be, and you'll get through it. There is some really cool shit in there, I promise.
Yeah.
To leave off Stir of Echoes, another cool Chicago thing about it, Music Box Theater's in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, I've sat right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that in one of his hypnotism visions, he pictures like a grand old movie house, and I'm like, oh, I know those curtains.
I know those terrible seats. Ow, my back. It's got that. It's got... I really can't talk enough about Kevin Bacon's accent. It's so funny. It'll... You know what? This movie does actually kind of have some genuinely comedic moments.
Yeah.
That are like kind of low key, but I appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's drinking all the orange juice and then he buys like a bunch of fucking orange juice and the refrigerator stocked with it. It's like, that's silly, but like
that is really...
That's also like...
He's gonna die from diabetes.
That's kind of funny, I guess. I think it's one you should definitely seek out.
Yeah.
They made a sequel that was one of those...
Oh, direct to DVD.
It like still happens. Like, there will be horror franchises, and then it's like, this is just going to go straight to DVD, and it's going to come out 10 years later. Nobody asked for it. Doesn't really have anything to do with Stir of Echoes.
Mm-hmm.
And the sequel doesn't have anything to do with whatever the franchise is, but it has the title.
Yeah. This was released in 1999. I'm very sad that it's not more widely known. Another ghost movie with a ghost seeing little kid. The Sixth Sense came out that year.
Yeah.
And that's the more well-known one. And
I mean, it's definitely why this one is less seen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't think they came out in the same month, but...
No.
I'm sure they were still in the same cinema... Because, like, they kept showing The Sixth Sense.
It was a hit.
Yeah. So...
that was a
They
huge
must have
success.
intercepted, and as much as we love Kevin Bacon, I think I would also be like, no, I gotta see this movie that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Now, if you told me... If you said, Jeff, gun to your head... Stir of Echoes, you can save only one, Stir of Echoes or Sixth Sense, I would think to myself, that's not that bad. I mean, it's kind of peaceful, right? Just pull the trigger, because that's way too hard for me. I love both of those. I'm not saying that, obviously. I'm obviously kidding, but like, I think...
Oh, I got worried for a second. I was about to call 911.
No, I think The Sixth Sense is a perfect movie. It's a masterpiece. But
this is the more fun one.
But this is because The Sixth Sense. You take out the ghost. The Sixth Sense is just a really sad drama.
Yeah. Sad drama. Kevin Bacon Chicago accent.
Yeah.
Which one you gonna choose?
Yeah.
Should be no contest. The Kino brain person that I want to be in my head says, Sixth Sense is the best one. Mm-hmm. But I know deep down in my heart, you want to choose Stir of Echoes. He's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Go check it out.
Yeah,
it's you can get it anywhere. The Blu-ray is actually pretty cheap, and it's always on sale on Vudu or Amazon.
I haven't used the DVD in a while. But didn't the menu used to...
Yeah, okay. If you can find a DVD copy of this, which I'm sure it won't be hard to find. The menu fucks with you. I know there are other, like the one for Fight Club.
Oh yeah.
It makes it seem like it's a different movie. This one will like put a face in the background where there wasn't. It'll like change shit around. it's like, as a kid putting on the DVD, I was like, nobody fucking warned me about this. Like, I'm trying to watch this horror movie. You need me to get scared before I even start. Also, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I know we kind of on and off with that movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool, and it's also so fucking boring. But it's also kind of cool, and I respect it.
Yeah.
But it's also boring as shit, but it also has, like, the scariest fucking, like, final frame of a movie. Right. We're on and off about it, but if you have the DVD for it, that's another one where, like, if you just kind of... One, it has this really scary soundtrack that's, like... I don't think it's in the movie, or if it is, it's, like, at the credits. It's got a scary soundtrack, and it's another one where the menu changes shit on you, and it'll, like... change the image in the background and make you think something's gonna pop out. It's really fucking scary too. But Stir of Echoes, yeah, if you can get on DVD, that almost feels nostalgic in a way to see it. I give Stir of Echoes
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. No, not deep. I was gonna try to think of something else.
Garrett's Popcorn.
Nah.
Portillo's Dog.
Did you know Pizza Puff was a Chicago thing? I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which, like, when you think about it, it makes sense. Like, I forget that we're the Midwest. Like, in my dumbass brain, it's like Chicago. That's the state that's next to New York. Right. By the way, I'm from Chicago, not Illinois. Yeah. I don't associate with any other bumblefuck. Lyle, what the fuck is that? If you're not from Chicago, I mean, like, I feel like we're the one blue dot in Illinois, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
And not to say that I'm straight up Democratic. I don't know where I land, but I'm more so on the left, more so in the blue than I am in the red. So it's good for me.
Politics, and you said you wouldn't.
In the worst way possible, probably. People probably, if you think less of me after hearing this, I would totally understand. I gotta stop saying sorry about that.
That's fine.
But let's finish this off. 5 out of 5. Chicago hot dogs, which I actually don't like.
Italian beef.
Fuck the Chicago hot dog. That's the most disgusting shit.
I like it.
I hate it. Okay, people who have not had it, listen to this. A hot dog, mustard, okay, that's cool. Onions, what are you doing? Relish, that's more onion and pickle, and it's sweet now. Tomato,
celery salt,
little peppers, I forgot which ones they are.
Yeah.
Celery salts, which is also like celery has a salt. What the fuck is that? And
the pickle.
And yeah, and like a whole pickle spear.
Yeah.
Does that only make sense from Chicago? Like, is anybody else hearing this and thinking that sounds fucking disgusting? Because I think it's fucking disgusting. Give me the fucking plain ass hot dog, mustard, maybe ketchup if I'm feeling like kind of lame and like a baby. That should be it.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had a good Chicago dog in a while, which is weird because I live in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I've had our pizza a lot, and you can diss a lot of things.
And if you ever
diss the pizza.
If you ever go, oh, by the way, Tavern Cut better than New York thin crust. For fucking sure.
I've never been to New York, so.
Santulo's is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's New York style, but even we do that better. That's a better restaurant because it's in Chicago. Imagine a lesser version of Santulo's, and that's New York pizza.
Damn. That just makes me think that Santulo's isn't around anymore.
Yeah. Oh, well. It was too good for this world.
I once some of my friends from Wisconsin, I said they were in town, and I said
I totally forgot what I was talking about, but go on.
And I said, like, oh, there's a pizza place in Wicker Park. We gotta go. It's called Santulo's. And I looked it up on Google. I got the address. I took a lift there. Closed. Permanently. They were not open.
Damn.
What the hell, Google?
Whoops. That does suck. Like, that's happened multiple times where I go somewhere and it's like, oh, what the fuck? It's closed forever?
Yeah.
When did that happen? R.I.P. Fat Willie's latest victim.
Yeah.
It'll forever be immortalized in the unseen movie Gringo. And that's not to say that Gringo is a good movie.
It's in Gringo?
Yeah.
Really?
It's like heavily featured in Gringo, Chicago Film of the Year. I totally forgot that that's the David Oyelowo movie. I think it's from Amazon Studios. I might be wrong.
Maybe.
It's some, or you know what? Maybe it's HK Brothers. I don't know. But it's some weird company, and it's a weird movie. And it's like, it's not weird enough in a good way to watch it. Like, it's still pretty dull.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's got weird shit like a subplot where a character loves Fat Willie so much that they become like obese. It's like that's weird, man. Why is this in the movie?
Huh.
And it's what makes it like more so surreal and like this is a simulation type thing going on is the fact that when I watched that movie, it was in a movie theater across from Fat Willie's. So it's like you could see the ad and then immediately go out to it too, because like I said, this is all a simulation.
Yeah, the movie was just a big long advertisement for Fat Willie's.
Yeah.
It just so happened to star, Charlize Theron and David Oyelowo.
Charlize Theron, David Oyelowo, and the Australian dude
Joel Edgerton.
Solid cast.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? This also counts as a Chicago horror movie, and that's why we're talking about it.
I did not know that was set in Chicago.
You know what? Maybe we should watch it.
All right.
Maybe it'll be bizarre enough to do like an episode on. Unless what you've heard for the last 42 minutes makes you think this, I don't ever want to hear this ever again. Let us know, because we'll do the Gringo episode if it's requested. 5 out of 5. We'll just keep it with deep dish pizzas.
Yeah, all right. 5 out of 5. I adore this movie. It's just a really special movie to me. I love a good mystery, and you have definitely shown me a love for a good horror movie. It's just a really great experience. Like, it's creepy, it's got a great mystery, it's got good acting from Kevin Bacon. You got Chicago. If you're from here, as an extra bonus. Because my dad, when I showed it to him, he said, like, is this director from here? And I was like, I think he's from the Midwest, or born in the Midwest. And he was like, yeah, he got Chicago down.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. If you're not, like, unlike the Relic, where it's like you kind of only appreciate it if you're really from here.
Yeah.
Stir of Echoes, if you don't know Chicago, this really is an accurate representation of it. Except the one thing that really bothers me about the movie.
Oh.
And it's something that my dad brought up too, and it hasn't stopped bothering me since he brought it up. Nowhere in Chicago is there the town's going to the college football game. That does not exist.
I thought you were going to talk about the Logan Square Blue Line stop.
Oh, that's a small thing. Like,
okay.
It was a Logan Square Metro stop, I think is what it was. Wasn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's something small. This is egregious. This is unforgivable. We're not fucking Friday Night Lights. Like, no one gives a shit about college football here. And the people who do give a shit about college football here, I can't think of a worse human than that. Like, our college football purposely fails. It would seem like we're never going to be in the fucking top 10. Yeah. And you know what? Someone's going to fucking comment, you know what? We've been in the fucking top 10 the last 30 years. I don't know, and I don't care. If I don't see it, Adrian doesn't exist.
Is definitely not the sports guy.
I appreciate people appreciating sports to a point, in the same sense that I appreciate people appreciating anything up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
But sports, they just know how to get really fucking annoying about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is I think all it is. Will I bully my child if they like sports? Absolutely I will, but I'll still want them to play whatever they want. I'm just gonna be like, wow, what a fucking jock loser. I'm kidding. Hey, frat boy, you want to drink a beer? Dad, I'm 7.
What is this, Good Boys?
Yeah, I don't know. Man, I really don't like sports.
Oh, well.
But yeah,
But shout out to Ricky and Tyrone.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky and Tyrone for being the sports people of the group. Yeah. You know, like in that Joe Parrott thing where it's like the lunch or the breakfast gang.
Yeah.
Jeff is the movie encyclopedia. I don't know how to describe you, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've said this to people. First off, if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking like, man, I wish I had friends like that. You know what? Pretend that you're a part of the conversation. This is a friend simulator. Because some of you will never know a friendship this close. And that's okay. I forgot the point that I was making.
It's hard to describe me.
Oh yeah. So it's hard to describe Jeff because you do so many unique things that in one time can like just infuriate me and make me think like, why are you doing it this way? But then on the other hand, it's also like you have a beautiful mind. It would seem like, because I would never think of this. I am convinced that once the world actually ends, Jeff is going to be like, you've all passed the test. I will take you and we will ascend. It's like, oh shit, cool. I knew there was a reason why he was around here.
Nice. I like all that.
But I forgot why I brought that up though. Whoops.
Because Jeff is the movie encyclopedia guy. And
yeah, I'm I don't even want to get into what I might be. Ricky is the sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone is the brilliant guy, the smartest of all of us, and I feel
absolutely.
like we all agree.
Yeah. Jeremiah,
Jeremiah, you're a smart guy, but if I had to get like a partner in something, I'm gonna go with Tyrone if he's available. I'm sorry, but it's just like Tyrone's the type of person would never want to get into an argument with him.
Yeah.
Cause like, not only am I gonna lose, I'm gonna look stupid doing it. And that just speaks to how brilliant he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot why we brought that up. I keep forgetting
the Joe Para breakfast circle.
Sure.
Okay. Which, by the way,
I remember what you're talking about.
That's a deep cut reference in and of itself.
I want this podcast to be as honest of what it's going to be from the first episode. Because there will be more like this.
Yeah.
So if this is what you want, hey, we're going to keep it coming. Whether you like it or not. And if it's not, that's totally fine. Leave a review.
Yeah.
And stay spooky.
Yeah.